This is Violet speaking. This recording was done in at Grandma's house. She was totally unaware of the fact that we were doing this recording. A lot of the things that are said on here, things that happened to her in her childhood, and things that happened that she did with her sisters and with her mother and dad.
Would you remember any of that?
Well, what did you want that for?
Well, she wanted to make a family tree book.
I know, but she got her hands full then.
Well, she'd like to know some of that stuff. Do you remember any of it?
Why, mother was born in Norway.
Your mother?
Yeah, she was born in Norway and in Voss. And Pa was born in Wisconsin, Muskego.
Muskego, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Where is that supposed to be near, Grandma?
Huh?
Where is that near Muskego?
What that is?
Yeah, where is that near? What city?
Other town is near Muskego?
Well, I know the Big Bend.
Big Bend, that's just a about from
The Big Bend. They had her long, but the later years, Edwards is Waterford now.
Oh, it's still in that area then. It's down
Yeah,
in
oh,
that area.
yeah.
I see.
No, my father, for that big houses,
Yeah.
you know, they wanted my father to have that, take the hold of that home place, but he wanted to take Homestead over in Randall County.
Oh.
So,
Well, now, was he an only son?
no, Ole, there's one brother named Ole.
Your dad had a brother named Ole?
Well, he has a right that named Hans. Hans, he lives in Albert Lee. And then he has a sister that lives around Albert Lee, and her name was Ingeborg. And Hans' brother.
Now, this was would have been your uncle then.
Yeah.
Was your father's,
My grandfather was married 3 times.
okay, that's what I'm trying to get straight. Now, where did your dad come in? Was he of the first family or what?
He was in the first family.
And he was the only one?
No.
He had a real brother, a full
That
brother?
was Hans and Ingeborg and Margaret. Hans and Ingeborg.
Your husband was, or your dad was Ole.
Ole,
Yeah,
his name was Ole. Supposed to be Chenos.
yeah,
And that Hans was Chenos. Hans Chenos too.
yeah.
But then when he went out here, he changed his name to Ole Evenson.
Yeah.
And that's the first children first.
Yeah. Well, there were 4 in that family then, the first family, huh?
Let's see.
It was Hans and Ingeborg and Ole and Margaret.
Ingeborg and Margaret. And Hans and Pa. Yeah. Not I can remember.
Yeah, well then he married the second time. Were there any in that family?
No children.
What about the third time?
The oldest, that was that's the one that built that house, and then only his brother.
Oh, that was his brother that built that big house, his
No,
half-brother.
that's his sister.
Oh, his sister.
His sister on the third generation. The third
Now, was she
family.
the only one then?
She?
Was she the only one in that third family?
No, there were 2. Her brother named Ole Evenson too, same thing.
Oh, good grief.
And he has a little place, a little off from there. He was bachelor. He never was married. He was a bachelor.
I don't see how in the world they ever kept that family straight. It's about as bad as what it says in the Bible when she'd had 7 husbands, and whose husband would she be in the resurrection? Oh man.
Yeah, and Margaret, she lives in Kansas, Missouri.
Kansas City?
Yeah, Kansas City, Missouri. And she got a family there. When Pa was living, they were writing together all the time.
You've never kept touch though since then.
I
huh?
never wrote to her. And she and Miranda in Wisconsin, and Ingeborg, those 3 came to our house and visited once.
Oh.
They came together.
Well, now, it's presuming then that she also has a family.
Who?
This one that lives in Kansas City. She
Well,
no
sure.
doubt has a big relation
Yeah.
like we have around here.
Yeah, there's a generation that she had.
Yeah.
She lived up and she's seen her 4th generation.
Her 4th generation?
Yeah.
5th generation.
5th?
5th generation.
I had a picture of it. I don't know where that
Yeah,
is
it's in
now.
that book, scrapbook.
Huh?
It's in that scrapbook.
Which is in there?
Mm-hmm.
She had
Yeah.
5 generations, huh?
Yeah, that's interesting to see.
Yeah.
Well, you see, we got it.
Listen, and everyone first born in that family was girls. So they're all girls in that family.
Oh.
And I know one, her oldest sister is Lissy. Lissy and another one. They run a restaurant in Missouri.
Show it to Raymond.
Halverson girls. They went down there and visited Kansas City.
It'd be kind of fun if we knew about that too, because we don't know anything about that relation at all. You know, for us, I don't know about Leonard's. Maybe they do, but Ray and I sure don't know anything about it.
We had the family picture of
You know, when Dale was in Missouri, we went through Kansas City.
Yeah.
He looked about 20
And you know,
It'd be kind of
Reverend
fun.
Hanson, a doctor, you know, Reverend
Yeah.
Hanson got a Dr. Ernest. He went to school down in Kansas, Missouri. And the Reverend Hanson came down to our house and he wanted address to her. I had to find the address. He went down to Kansas to visit his son, and he went and picked up and he found my relation down there.
Here it is.
Oh, there is.
It's a baby, 5th generation.
I thought that was gone altogether.
No, it's in here.
We have a real picture from it.
Why don't you read that, Vi?
Well, I can't see. Some of it's torn here, Dan.
We had
I remember that picture
photograph
from many
picture
years
of it,
ago.
but you didn't get back again when you got
I
it.
don't know where that is.
You got the photograph and the newspaper man, and he kept it.
Here?
Yeah, he
No.
took a picture.
Well, you would have to
Yeah.
go back and pick it up. They
I
won't.
don't know why.
She probably didn't pick it up.
Yeah, well, they only keep that for what, 30 days?
Did you do this, Bert?
No, I didn't tell him
What's this about? Otherwise you could read that.
He did this in.
I've got that too someplace. I
We
know.
got to make them off the porch too. We have them all in here.
I'm trying to see some of these things.
Have you seen this here?
No, I'm gonna look through that afterwards, so let Ray look through it.
No, you look through it.
All of the red and here.
Oh.
Oh, if you're interested, there's no
And you know, Ray, you know, Hans Chenos, that lived in Arbor Lee, he has a daughter or a son that, a daughter, or a granddaughter, whatever it is, I don't know, down in Detroit Lake. And Ray, or Lloyd, he was a taxi cab driver there for a while. And he took those people around town there and never knew who they were. And so I don't know how kind of mix up it was. And I got a letter from Annie Halverson that she had been in Detroit Lake and visited this here Chenos. And then I took Annie Halverson's letter and mailed it to Lloyd. And she says, I know that lady says I've been taking her in the cab many times. She says I never knew she was. There was relation to her. And Leonard Ray, he went over to her house and showed her the picture and his letter. And their letter had been Annie had been there visiting them, and Lloyd didn't know that.
Yeah, didn't even know you're related.
No.
Yeah. No, the world is small if you don't keep track of your relations.
You're not Pearson, you know.
I didn't know that. I tell you, when you start to think about it, when I lived at home, you know, and then came driving, and then I came driving, and big fat, they were both heavy set.
We were heading to
Wait a
Boyum
minute.
that day.
Wait a minute. And so he asked me. He went out of the car, he had an old car. If is here where the Chenos is, you know, that's he didn't know that, you know, talk about Chenos, I know Evenson. Yeah, I says, my dad, I says, well, is he here? And I said, yes. And he was down in the barn. And you ought to see how my father acted. looked at him. He knew about the, or so overpriced he came and visited.
Who was it now? His brother? Half brother?
That was his
half brother?
Brother's son.
Oh, I see. So it would have been his nephew.
Yeah, and they stayed over that night. Both of them. They had been down to Detroit Lake to visit his daughter, and they went through there, our place, and then they were going back to Arbor Lake.
So it was your relation, but you hadn't kept really track of them at all either.
So he got surprised that he came there, and then I went with him over to Fort Wrigley and showed him around there, and then they went from there to Albert Lake. Was that a surprise? So
yeah.
We went over to Chris Boyum that evening too.
No, they didn't say that day.
Huh?
Boyum said they didn't say that day.
What?
Annie had 80 stayed that day.
Ladies' Aid?
Yes.
Well, I don't remember that.
Well, you had a few interesting experiences. One that tickles me the most is when you had that time when you had baked yourself a birthday cake. Remember that? You told me about that? You had made yourself a birthday cake?
At our house?
Well, I think that was when you were a little girl, didn't you?
Oh.
Well, it's just needed up.
Yeah, and I must have been something like Sheila, I guess. I was a little smaller than that, I guess. Yeah. I was going to make a birthday cake for once. They wasn't in the house or something. And I didn't go by nothing. I'd seen David do things. I took too much butter, I guess, and worked it up. And I put it in that cake with angel food cake, you know.
Yeah.
And it came up all right. And I'm afraid I was going to, they wouldn't like it, but I thought I'd surprise them. and but it got so much cream on top. There was too much butter in it.
Butter in it, huh?
So I put it down the basement. And then
You never thought about putting a cover of any kind
no,
over it?
I just put it down in the basement there. Come down there, well, that plate was all slicked up and nothing left. That didn't hurt me a bit, because that wasn't good anyhow.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah,
Did you ever try it again?
No. We never had any birthday cakes, and I didn't know what that was. No.
Well, was your mother able to do, for you kids at all? Was she sickly all her life that you remember?
Well, she was in trouble with rheumatism. Her knees were all swollen up. And she's in a cold house, in the winter time. She was staying in bed so much. And her fingers were all crippled up.
No.
Yeah.
See, I never knew that before.
Huh?
I never knew that about her before.
Her fingers were all crippled up. And her teeth, she didn't have no teeth, they've been breaking out, into pieces, so she only had the roots left. And of course, in those days we didn't have no dentist or nothing, we only went to a doctor, of course, anything. No, I tell you that I can remember a lot of things there.
How big a house did they have that they lived in? That you lived in?
One-room house.
One room? Well, what did you have in it then? A stove and a table and
A stove and the table and I don't know just where the dishes was. I can just remember. And I know my sisters, we had feather bed. The pa he shot the ducks, so we saved those feathers, so we got it down. So we slept on the floor.
you slept on the floor?
Yeah. And
Did you have a wood floor?
Yeah.
That must have been pretty drafty.
Oh yes. And I tell you that we burnt so much hay and straw, you know. And when it was cold, why it got so steamy and it frosted up the windows. We didn't have no storm windows, and didn't no storm windows and no doors, window. And the windows were so coated, you know, you couldn't see.
They were
out.
real thick with
Yeah.
snow and frost.
And then when we put fire in the stove, it got warm in there. All that went on the water on the floor.
Yeah.
So we had to go with the rag and wipe it up. Well, I know sometimes on Saturdays we had to take the hammer or the axe, the short handle axe, and chop the ice all around the edges. I remember that plain.
Oh, that was really what you call cold. It's a wonder that anybody survived.
Yeah, it was. I think that's funny too. And then when we washed clothes, you know, why we had no place to hang the clothes, we laid them on the ice, on the snow outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes the wind came and took the wind took the sheets, and you don't know where they are, some of them.
Well, how in the world did you manage, like, for bedding and that? What did you keep yourself warm with?
In bed.
What did you do for your clothes? How did you manage to get your clothes?
For what?
Well, what you had to wear.
You only wore one dress.
I know, but did you wear that all winter?
Yeah,
We went to school there. We had outing flannel dress, and then we had apron to cover it, apron with sleeves on. So we had the same dress all winter.
You never washed them, I'll bet you, all winter either.
I don't remember that.
Did you sleep in them?
No, we didn't sleep in it. I remember that we had homemade underwear. My mother took some stuff along from Norway, material.
Yeah.
I suppose she expected maybe someday to have children, you know. And she had took some material along home. And she made pants, and she made a shirt.
Now, they didn't have a sewing machine either. She did it all by hand.
Yeah, she bought the sewing machine
Oh, she did
when she worked in Chicago.
Oh.
And did we hate to change take a bath because that material was so stretchy, and just like to put straw on you. You have to wear it probably a day or two to kind of get the release, you know. Stretch.
Maybe that's why you're scratching yet today,
I
Grandma.
shouldn't wonder. That was not terrible. I just hate to.
No, but I've often wondered, you know, they didn't have access to a store. You couldn't go buy anything in a store that was ready-made.
And you know what? We had kerosene in a little jug. Everything was in a jug, you know, syrup and molasses. Bring the jug to town and get molasses and syrup in that stuff. And so we had to have a jug for kerosene too.
What did they do, like, for your coats and that? Did your mother make them, or?
Oh, we didn't have coats. We had a shawl.
You didn't even have a coat?
You know, we had a shawl. We went to school with. We had to put it over the head and cross it in the front and tied it in the back. And then we stuck our arms in here.
That wasn't much covering, was it?
No, that's the way we went to church school. And then we didn't have no overshoes.
Oh, now they grumble because they have to wear
them. And then we had a saucer. Put a few drops of kerosene in the saucer and put a wick in there. And that was the light we had. I tell you, there was smoke in the house.
I can believe that.
And then I know when it was so cold, my pa, he got up early in the morning. He was an early bird, you know. He'd like to have his coffee. And then when he got up, it was ice in the water pail and ice in the coffee pot and everything.
I remember at home that I used to water
We
pail.
did too. At home in our place when we first were married.
And then we girls went up in the bed there. It was cold on the floor. He pushed the table over to the bed, so he sat in the bed there, and then he fried some pork and cooked potatoes with peelings on for breakfast, man. You.
Well, I suppose that was the only thing they had. You didn't have eggs, and you
No.
certainly probably didn't have oatmeal even. Huh?
No, I didn't know what oatmeal was. I remember once, that was later years, my father went to Minneapolis and he took me along. I was just a little girl. And then we came home late that night. So he put me in the hotel. And so I had to stay in the hotel. I was pretty young then. I remember that's the first oatmeal I got was in the hotel.
Bet you didn't know what it was, huh?
Well, it tastes good anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you that.
Oh, I tell you that they should go through what I said, you know, you wouldn't be so sitting and riding in the swell car.
Well, I've often wondered too about how could they even, if it was so cold in the house, how could they keep bread going? How could they keep the yeast going? Because they always had to have a starter for the yeast. My mother did anyway. I'm sure your mother did too, didn't she?
Yeah, we.
How did they manage to keep that
We
alive?
had to set the bread that night. If we didn't do that, and then we had to cover it down so it doesn't get cold. If it got cold, we wouldn't have no bread.
That's what I mean. How did they manage it?
Well, we had to cover it down with everything what we had.
And they didn't have much. How could you do it?
Oh, we had to.
Put it in the bed.
I remember my dad, he liked donuts so good. And then we happened to get another room then on the other side of the house. So we had the stove in there. And then we had had the fat in the frying pan. And that hay, you know, we had to learn to twist that.
Yeah.
Twist that. And
I remember my dad talking about that too.
And we couldn't get the fat hot enough, but we fried donuts in it, and the donut didn't get hot, brown. The donut, they took up all the fat put in there. But my dad, he liked donuts anyway.
Even if they weren't brown, huh? No, but I've often thought, you know, I know even when I was a kid, and that's, you know, not that far back where we had better houses then. I know my mom had such a struggle even then keeping the yeast because you had to keep it warm, you know, so that it wouldn't get cold. Otherwise your bread wouldn't raise. And how on earth did they ever do it in those old houses? And bread was their staff of life. It was the only thing they had to live on practically. And to eat, they had to keep that going even in that terrible, terrible cold weather. I've often wondered how they did it.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Did you have a cow? So you had milk?
I don't just remember how that was. I know we cooked the mush once in a while. I remember she was going to make some bread. She made some bread and then she took one loaf and let it raise, and then she had a steamer over a big kettle, in that big iron kettle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she put a little water in there, and then you put the steamer in there and put that bread in there, and let that cook, let that steam there for about an hour, and the bread got big and nice. And she made some sauce, what they call, it looked like gravy, you know, what they call, I don't know what they call it, sauce anyway, put over it. They cut it like angel cake.
Oh.
Cut it like that, and then you put this here stuff over it.
Now what was in that bread then? Was there raisins or something
No,
in it?
just common bread.
Oh.
And then it was cinnamon and sugar and water and butter in that water, you know. And it
Yeah, it was
gravy
kind of like a hard
Oh,
sauce.
we thought that was so good.
Well, it was probably the only treat you ever got, wasn't it?
Thought that was so good. We had to eat it up right away, you know,
Sure.
else it wouldn't be good.
Yeah. I don't imagine there was any trouble getting rid of it right away either when you made it.
Oh, no.
No, I can imagine. There wasn't much of anything that was but the bare necessities. But I've often wondered, I know that not everybody had a cow in those days, so that they got
And
milk.
after we got that extra room on the west side of our house there, then he would put a sow in there. Sure.
You're
You gotta
kidding.
put it down in there. The other one that you're going to get a pig, you're going to get little ones.
Yeah.
And then the minister, the minister came around once in a while from Minneapolis. And we felt so embarrassed, we girls. I was afraid that the minister would know that there was a pig in there. Because we wasn't big, we girls. And then the cat was in there. And the cat, she raced up by the door and she wanted to get out in there. And we didn't know what to do. I thought that if we opened that door, then he'd see the pig. So we managed to get the cat out of there.
You had the pig in the living house then?
Yeah, it
How
was
long?
the next room.
How long did you have it there?
Oh, we had till she got the little pigs. I don't know.
Was that a couple months you had her there?
We must have had it during the winter, I guess.
Oh, good grief. That must have been some awful smell.
No,
Oh, no, to keep it clean.
Yeah, but how did you keep it clean with a pig?
I tell you what, that
We didn't pay the house.
I kinda-
Well, he
I
ran
kinda-
over the house.
I can remember a lot of funny things.
The Bobby Frank's son, the son.
I've seen that one just the other day.
He looks like Bobby Frank too.
That's Larry. Our Larry.
Oh, Larry.
Yeah.
And when we grew up, we had to start to work outside. My oldest, Isabel, she wasn't that type. She wanted to work outside. Olai and Bertha, we had to do the work.
Did your dad have a barn?
Yeah, he built the store shed. He
Out of
got hold of
straw?
some and then thrashed over it. So we had the cows in the barn. Finally, gradually got more and more, So I know we went on top of that barn, cross shed, and Pa, he made a sled, and he was with us sliding down that
He was just as much
that snow there.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Well, there's no doubt that you had to make your own fun.
Yeah.
You weren't that,
I
how
know,
old were you, suppose, when you did this?
I know once, what in the world
8,
was?
9 years old?
Huh?
I say, how old were you, 8, 9 years old?
Oh, we couldn't have been that old.
That old even?
Yeah.
How old were your parents when you were born?
Oh, my parents were young. They were.
Were they really
They
young?
were on 30 years.
Well, they were in their 30s already.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, your dad was still young enough to enjoy it then, having fun with the kids
I know.
anyway. Huh?
We went out. I don't know. I and my sister we went back to the barn there. And how foolish it could be. He says, "Let's take our shoes and stockings off." He says, "See how far we can run in the snow in the barefooted."
Oh, you're good indeed. Did you do it?
Yep. Next day we had the measles.
You had the measles?
Yeah, I got the measles.
Would have been measles anyhow, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I remember Uncle Wilkinson came that day, and he had skis. He came walking with the skis.
Oh, there's Hanson's picture.
Here's the paper.
That's on Ruth
Yeah,
sent
look at
us.
these.
Ruth sent that tape by mail. Well, couldn't you just cut out the Hanson's picture? It sent 13 cents to send more than that to send the picture.
Yeah. What else kind of tricks were you up to?
Oh, we had so much snakes. There's so much snakes around there. I and my sister went to the straw pile there by the slough. We went down there one day and we killed snakes. I and Bertha.
You weren't afraid of them then?
No, and we cover between 3 posts. There's one post, two, 3 posts. We cover the wire with snakes.
With snakes?
Which is that many.
Oh, good grief.
You covered what?
The wire between 3 posts, they filled it full of dead snakes.
Oh.
They hung them on the heavenly days. How many did you kill? A couple hundred?
I don't know.
Oh, good grief.
Where did you find all them?
On the ground.
Yeah.
Same kind of a deal, because he hated him just as bad. You
Yeah,
don't like him yet to this day.
Or the market did an awful lot of this in the basement.
Oh, Ray, he just hates them. He's scared to death of them, for one thing.
So you're on fire and
I know, but my dad, he was a great hunter of watermelons in those days. I was just a little girl, I think. I think I must have been about 4 years old.
yeah.
And he would crawl down his knees there to see if the watermelon seed was sprouting, you know, dug down in the ground. And I had so much fun to jump on his back, you know, and ride horseback on him. And he was jumping up like a horse, you know. And then I fell down backwards, and I hit my head with his heel. It must have been. And he knocked me out.
Oh.
And he carried me in the house. And I come to when I come in the house. I remember that plain. I come to then when I come in the house.
I can remember when he used to go out to cultivating corn with the horses. He'd fill up one of these 10-pound sugar sacks with Whitney apples. You know these Whitney apples. In the morning, and then when he'd come home at noon, the sack was empty. He'd go and fill up another bag and eat in the afternoon. So he could eat.
Oh, he liked apples.
So mealy apples, you know.
And I remember when I was a kid, I used to have my candy packets. I could never hide that good enough. See, I hid it in the window one time and back of the sewing machine there in the kitchen. This is the kitchen now, dining room now. Was the kitchen that time. And here, when I came in, I saw him chewing away, and I was wondering what he was eating. So I went to look, see what he was eating. Here I only had a couple pieces of peppermint candy left. He had ate the whole package.
Yeah, he liked candy.
He liked Ma, he liked candy.
Then you know where I hid my candy after that by? Our table was made so there was a place up under there. And I hid my candy packets up under the table, under a place where you couldn't reach. There's where I hid my candy after that. So every time I wanted candy, I had to go up under it, climb on the floor under the table, and up and under the table there was a kind of a hiding place there. There's where I hid my candy after that.
One of the dogs had smelled
You heard about that I was out in the slough all night.
Is that the time your dad got lost or
Got lost
something?
that night,
Yeah,
huh?
in the slough, yeah.
What happened that time? You had been someplace to visit?
Yeah, we went across the slough.
9 miles through, isn't it called?
9 mile slough out there.
Well, had you gone across it in the daytime to visit, hadn't you?
Yeah, I was going over to Thilda there. There were some girls there. And
Were you
we
alone?
borrowed the boat from the neighbor.
Were you alone?
No, and my sister.
Oh.
We had the older sister home. We went over there, and he had borrowed the spinning wheel, I think it was. He's going to bring that back. Hans Boyum, Hans Thilda, he was a funny man. He had 4 girls and 1 boy. And his wife was the choreman. She done chores. She cleaned the barn, and she done the milking and everything. And he was in the house He had a knitting machine. I remember that. He had knit stockings for the girls, and he done sewed dresses for the girls too. And he was a carpenter. He helped my dad to build that new house we had. And Thilda. And he does everything, but his wife had to be in the barn.
Could she do housework then?
Huh?
Could she do housework then?
The girls.
The girls did the housework.
And he had a tame dog.
Dove?
A dog. When he come out to our house, that dog came along every time.
Flew alongside of him, huh?
When he was working there, she sat on his shoulder, and she was around him off his back all the time. She was sort of real tame dog. And once he went before, she knew it. And then we thought, well, she won't come today. Sure enough, she came.
Came back.
Came back because they found her. And he also took his guitar along.
Who did?
Yeah, that Thilda.
Oh.
He took his guitar along, and at noontime He rested there, an hour or so. And then he sat and sang a song. What was it? It was a Swedish song. Du rädd att möta Jesus upp på Tjörn. Du rädd att möta Jesus upp på Tjörn. Han kommer i den stora dag. Du rädd att möta Jesus upp på Tjörn. Remember that?
I remember that.
You never forgot that, huh?
Goodness.
As I said, little kids, they remember more than you think they do.
Yeah, you bet. I remember a lot of things when I was a kid too when it comes to remembering a lot of that stuff. It don't come all at one time, but it comes at different times.
Well, I don't remember you. I remember you telling me about that time when you went across that slough. But what was it that happened so you got lost?
Well, it got dark on us.
And you started out anyhow?
And it was, I don't know, it wasn't moonlight or anything. And Mrs. Thilda, she sent a blanket with us. And my mother, she hung out the lantern. And we said to Father, that's mother, the lantern my mother's hanging out there. No, that's Jussi Jensen, they said. She had Thilda lived east from us on the other side of the slough. And Jussi Jensen was on the other side, on the south side, south. And we lived on the west side. And my dad was turned around. And the light was west, and he thought the light was south. Mm-hmm. So, of course, he wouldn't listen to kids, I suppose.
He thought you didn't know nothing.
And so we went in and got into some clear water. He stuck his arrow down our roads down in the water. See how deep it was. We couldn't touch the bottom with those.
You're lucky the boat didn't tip over on you.
What kind of a boat did you have? A homemade boat?
Oh yeah, that
They
was.
didn't have no factory boats that time.
Simon Janssen, he's sort of a carpenter. He made things like that.
Well, were you out on that all night in the dark?
All night. We chained off on. I just leaned over on Bertha and slept a while, and she leaned over on me, and then
Kept on going all night.
And Pa, he took his coat and covered us, and it started to get daylight, and we seen where we was.
How far were you from home?
Oh, we were in the slough then.
Yeah, but I mean, how far away were you?
Oh, it was quite a ways from home.
Were you?
Yeah.
It's a good thing it didn't rain or something else, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, good man. I remember the time she told me about when she went and had her tooth pulled at the dentist. Do you remember that? That was something. How old were you that time? Remember you telling me about when you went to the dentist and your dad took you to the dentist, you had to have a tooth pulled or something?
Oh, it's 14 years then.
Well, you remember that very well.
Oh, I used to suffer terribly with that toothache. There's no dentist around or nothing,
Well, didn't you say there had come a dentist at Rhode Island or something?
No,
Or
I
to Hector?
didn't hear about dentists at all. Only thing to pull your tooth out, that's all.
Well, did you go to a doctor then? And
Yeah, a medical doctor in Hector.
Oh.
Was it a baby tooth then?
You think I had such a toothache that, and I carried on a dozen and a half eggs, I guess, in a grape basket. And,
You had 4 or 5 miles to town, didn't you?
yeah.
did you walk?
Oh, yes.
Why, what kind you think you
It was
take?
Well, I didn't know. I thought maybe they had
It was
a
hot,
buggy or something.
hot day too.
Oh.
And ate in. So I went out to the doctor, and then he come with his. There's a couple of times I've been to the doctor. One doctor, he froze it.
What did he freeze it with?
Something
Smeared around it?
sprayed on there, I don't know. He sprayed on it, and then he pulled it. But the other one, that was upstairs someplace. That was once I was there. And such a toothache. And he broke it. Boy, that was the way he cracked my head. I was ready to faint then, you know.
Did he get the tooth out?
No.
And you had to go home with the toothache yet?
I went home with the toothache.
She was all the worst toothache when she came
good
in.
grief.
And he told me to lay down on the couch there he had there. And he gave me some a little brandy in a cup. And
Well, if he'd have given you enough brandy, he could have pulled it.
charged 50 cents. And I screamed, you know, and he's hurt, and I hollered. And my sister said, she was in the other room. And she says to me that I ain't gonna roll over you anymore, she says.
Why, did you embarrass her? Is that why she wasn't gonna go with you? Or she was scared?
We got hollered, so.
She got scared.
Did you talk Norwegian then, or you talk like today's language?
No, all Norwegian.
Oh, no. How about the doctor? Did he talk Norwegian to them?
Oh, no.
He could understand you, though.
Oh,
huh?
we could talk English. We learned to start talking English as soon as we got to school, you know.
Oh.
How far did you have to go to school?
Oh, I don't know how far it must have been about 2 miles, right southeast, over the plowed fields, no road at all.
I wonder if that isn't where old 86 was. District 86.
Well, it would have to be South of Langs over in that area.
Yeah, well, that would have been old 86, because that's where they went to school. There was no other schoolhouse near there. It has to have been that, I think.
But the schoolhouse north district, isn't it?
No, there's a lot of schools up in that
Northwest.
area.
Was it northwest?
Northwest.
Oh, that was.
Oh, northwest. Well, that would be over by,
Now when you go to Rhode Island, when you go that road where the Wrongly Church is,
yeah.
you notice when you go so far north, there's a big, nice house there, built by woods there.
By Runley Church.
There's
That
crossroad. There's a crossroad.
Mm-hmm.
The road goes west, south, east and west, and then north and south.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, in that cross there where the schoolhouse stood.
Right where Rodway Farm?
It's right where crossroad is.
From Harvey Rodmeyer, where he lived, where would
It's
it
straight
be?
north from Harvey Rodmeyer.
Straight north, how far about? Be about 2 miles north?
About 5-6 miles.
5 or 6 miles north of
And
Harvey
then,
Rodmeyer.
there's a
Yeah, that
crossroad.
would be about.
There's a new house there someplace in there.
6 miles. That would be up south of Gordon Ness a couple miles.
Yes, that's in there.
Yeah?
They go in there, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a crossroad there, north of him there. And then there's an old farmer there, too. There's a Krieger, they call him. And then Rice lived there, and there's another Rice.
Well, now from Peterson Farm. That's south of Gordon Ness, ain't it? Remember
Martin
that
Peterson?
Yeah.
That is in the north of that bridge there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we was up there that night when Grandma Boyum died.
Oh,
Yeah, that was 1935, so
Oh,
Lester
yeah.
had his new car that time.
yeah.
And
And the
from there,
brother-
where would it be? South of there?
Huh?
The schoolhouse would be south of that place.
Yeah, it's farther north, yeah.
Farther north yet?
No, about 1 mile.
1 mile north of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be up by where Gordon Ness lived then. What side of the road was it on?
The schoolhouse
Yeah, what side of the road?
on the west side of the road. See,
West side, oh.
the road goes south and north and east and west.
Yeah.
Then
How
it's
much
right-
school, Grandma, how much school did you have every year? Would it start like in the September school?
I think we had about 8 months school.
Did you? I suppose when it was real cold, there was just nobody that got to school, was it?
Well, I don't know.
Was it 8 months or 7 months?
I wonder if it wasn't 7 months, Grandma, because even when I started school, and I got a few years to catch you, I got 40 years after you. Even when I started school, we only went to school 7.5 months when I first started.
I
So
know
I wouldn't be
that.
surprised.
I know they start to get more and more years
Yeah.
in.
Where in the world, where did the teacher stay? Did she usually board at?
It's more than a Kruger.
That would have been
Krieger.
close to the school, I suppose, huh?
That's close up to the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Of course, Rice is a little further off. They
Yeah,
didn't go
I
there,
know.
but the Kruger, that's the old folks and then their son. Their son wasn't married. And Lucy Krieger, the teacher went down and had dinner, and then she went home. we were kids. We were alone by ourselves while she went home and had dinner.
Oh.
She ate over there. She went home.
Every time you,
And he had the books. When you buy books, he had the books there.
Did you have to buy your books?
Yeah, no, I think we got them.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah. And, you know, my father and Krieger, and who was the other one?
Were they on the
in
school board?
My father was in the school board as long as we lived there.
That's the way my dad was too.
Yeah, he was in school board. And Pa, he carried the money.
Oh.
And they didn't have checks those days.
Yeah.
They had to have cash.
Yeah.
The teachers came over to the house, and then I know my dad, he gave him cash.
Yeah. How old were you that time when you told me about you and your sisters went to the fair? You didn't have no money. You said you wanted to go to the fair, but you didn't have a cent when you went. How old were you that time? You remember you told me about you went to the county fair.
Oh, yeah.
You said you didn't have a cent, but,
No,
but you went to the fair.
yeah, we made an egg pie and took along.
Oh.
And then it had one horse, a buggy, I guess. Then we took a sack of hay for him. And then we made that egg pie, and we put frosting on top. And we didn't put that in the oven, and that got just like water on top when you eat it. And we must have been about 8, 9 years old. We were pretty young when we started to drive.
Did your folks let you go?
Oh, they let us go. You ought to see the girls. When we drove those horses, we were just kids.
You know,
I and my sister, we had nerves.
You must have. I'm surprised your parents would let you go. My folks would have never let us do anything like that.
I often thought that was funny that...
That's 40 years before my time.
And I know they had the celebration in Rhode Island.
Yeah?
Was you there on that big balloon?
No.
no, I didn't remember that.
That's the big balloon. And...
How many years back was that?
Oh, that must be about
50 years ago?
50 years ago.
Yeah, well, that was...
I was there too, but I didn't know him.
He would be only a couple
No,
years
it was
old.
more than 50 years ago.
More than 50 years ago? Oh, I don't remember.
What happened?
And then there's Ivan Olson.
Well, Mom wasn't married yet.
Ivan Olson was there. And he says to me, did you have a merry-go-round ride? No, he said, he didn't have any. He gave me 25 cents. So then I told the girls that let's have a ride now. I got 25 cents. And the ride was 5 cents.
Oh.
Didn't cost so much those days. Of course, figured
So
you
we
paid
had,
the prices by it.
So we had a few pennies.
How
left.
old were you then, you figure?
Oh, we must have been 8, 9 years old.
Oh,
And then rode a horse.
We parked our horses back up Frank Lee. Frank Lee had a photographer.
Was the fairgrounds the same place then as today?
Oh no, fairground. They didn't have no fairground.
They had it right in town.
Oh, you had it right in town.
They're right in the middle of town there.
What did you do when you tied did you tie your horses yourself? Did you not tie them up?
No, Frank Lee lived in the house there.
Or you tied them by his place?
They brought back to his yard.
They tied the horses up for you, but you didn't know how to
We
tie the horses.
done that ourselves.
Oh, you done it yourself.
No.
I was wondering, you knew how to drive them and steer, but I was wondering if you know how to tie them up.
Well, nobody helped us, I tell you.
Didn't your parents ever get worried when you didn't show
I
up?
don't think so. I don't know. We went. We had a buggy. About five. The first thing we bought was a 2-wheel cart. You like those carts that you go around with a horse, you know? That's the kind of. And then
Yeah, I should have.
we were going to town, and we didn't have no chimney for our lamp. And so then we took the lamp along. Buy the lamp. Bertha, wait a minute.
I thought you.
And then you're going to get a chimney for that lamp.
Now, was this the lamp in your house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We finally got the kerosene lamp.
Yeah.
And that lamp chimney broke. So we were going to take that lamp along and get the chimney for it. It would have been a whole lot better if we could guess, you know,
Yeah.
to take that lamp. And when we went up in that
Buggy?
in that what do you call it?
The buggy?
Not buggy. We call it
A cart?
two-wheel cart.
Oh.
Oh, that was a
And
two-wheeler, you
then
had
the-
one horse then?
One horse.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Then what?
What they call those things? What they have for those stallions?
Sulky?
Huh?
You talking about a
Sulky,
sulky?
yeah.
Sulky, is that what you call it?
And the horse or flies you have flies, you know. And he was switching that tail so terribly, and he hit the lamp, broke that.
So you didn't have a lamp now?
No. So we had to buy the whole thing.
Did you have enough money?
I suppose we had to.
I'd like to see Violet drove one horse and two-wheeler
I
buggy
don't-
and go to town with.
I don't like horses in the first place.
Well, if that was better than walking.
Good old days.
You must have hit that lamp with her tail then and
Yeah, I
knocked it
tell
down,
you
huh?
Well, the cart was so close up to the
Yeah, I know.
body.
But I mean, on that horse was caught the lamp.
And we used to have take gunny sacks and have it over the horse, you know. We sewed
Oh.
together 2-3 gunny sacks. But we didn't have that on that. And we used to buy flying shoes to put on the horses.
Yeah, I can remember when I was a little kid, they used to have fly nets on
Yeah.
horses.
Oh, those flies, and the flies are so bad that you don't realize it.
Didn't have a fly sprayer to put on the horse either, you know, to spray him with.
Well, in the house, we didn't have trees on the windows either, you know.
Yeah, and they didn't have no fly, nothing to kill the flies either.
No, we had the paper you put in the plates, you know, with a
Yeah.
little water in, and killed it. Look at it multiply.
Oh, yeah.
And then when we had company, we had to have someone to stand with the flies over, chase flies all over the table, so they could eat.
Okay, let me ask you something else. When you had, like, when you were a little kid, what do you remember that you had to eat mostly?
Oh, the bread and
Like
butter.
for breakfast, you said your dad would boil you potatoes and you had bread.
Yeah.
Okay, what now, like, what would you have, like, for dinner
We
then?
had,
What would you have for dinner, say?
we had the bread and meat and butter.
You did have meat.
Yeah. The pork.
You
I
usually
always
had,
had pork.
now that was always salted down, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, that was brine salted.
You got used to that too.
Oh, yeah.
Now, did he go fishing very much?
Fishing.
Oh, he lived on fish.
Yeah, but when I'm talking about when she was a little girl. Did he do a lot of fishing when you were a little girl?
Fishing?
Yeah?
You don't know what that was?
You didn't know what that was, huh?
No.
When you were a little girl.
Well, then it was down to our place when he lived there is when he went fishing then. When he lived at
Yeah,
home, he
yeah.
went fishing all the time.
Did you ever have chickens then so that you had eggs?
Well, finally, later years.
I'm talking about when you were a little girl.
Oh, no, we didn't have eggs.
You never had
We
eggs.
had, my dad, he got a hold of a gun and he had that slough, you know.
Yeah.
Why, he was a great man to shoot ducks.
Oh.
So we had
You
duck.
had duck lots.
Yeah. And then we saved the down.
feathers and the down,
So we
huh?
got the pillows and
Yeah.
things like that.
Did you have mushroom too?
Huh?
Did you eat mushroom too?
What?
Mushrat.
Mushroom.
He never trapped or anything like
no,
that then, huh?
no.
You never had anything, if you had meat at all, it was just the salt pork, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't very much of a diet, was it? Did they ever have a garden in the summertime?
Oh, yeah, he had gardens.
What did you have then? Onions,
Carrots and onions and
potatoes,
potatoes and
tomatoes?
But I don't know where he puts it now. What would be on the beach? Yeah, when I was real young, I don't just remember. Yeah, it must have garden because when he was crawling around there and I was on his back, you know, that was the melons.
Where did they get the seed? Did they save their own seed every year? Or
Yeah.
could you buy
I'm
seed?
sure we saved everything.
Could you buy the seed if you had
I
to?
imagine so. Oh yes.
In bulk.
When we got too much melons and things like that, then We took that sulky and the horse and we went to the neighbors and gave away garden stuff. And, squash.
Yeah. Oh, you had squash too, a pumpkin, I suppose?
And then he planted citron. I can't see why he planted that for.
Planted what?
Citron. Citron that looked like watermelon.
Oh, yeah.
But mother cooked that like sauce. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know what that was good for. We didn't need it.
You didn't eat it? Well, it was going to be different. Did you have sweet corn? Was it such a thing as sweet corn at all?
We had feed corn.
Yeah.
Field corn is just about as good.
Feed corn, yeah.
Yeah. But you did eat that then too?
Oh yeah, we liked that.
Now, did they ever buy any dried fruit or anything like that?
Apples and
Apples and prunes?
And prunes. We soaked that
Yeah.
and bought it. And then we had always had syrup and molasses. We had that on the table instead of, sauce.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have much sauce. We had sauce up as a cook it, I suppose. We didn't can anything.
Well, I don't suppose there was any way they could can anything.
No.
They didn't have no jars, did they?
No, I don't think so.
Did
But-
they used to make pickles or anything like that?
No.
Because I think I remember my grandma saying that they used to put them down in a crock. Grandma used to make pickles. My grandma used to make pickles. But I don't think they had anything even like dill then.
That's right too. She made the tomato pickles.
Green ones then?
Yeah. She made the green tomato pickles.
Well, that must have been different.
I remember when we did the
Well, yeah, but they didn't have pickling spices and things like we do now, and I don't suppose they had an awful lot for sweet. Of course, you could buy sugar.
Yeah.
Did your dad raise his own wheat then so that they would make their own flour? That's what my dad used to do. When we were kids, I remember him taking, so much wheat in and getting so much flour back every fall.
Well, I used to buy it.
Did you used to do that too?
Yeah, I think they did.
Well, they used to have a
I
mill
know-
in Hector when I
I
was a
know
little
once.
kid.
Well, we're perfect, yeah.
I know once they went to town with a load of something, and I don't know what it was. It was wheat or flax or what it was, and Law was along, and didn't agree on the price.
Oh, she wanted it.
She said she wanted more for her wheat than the load, and they got into spat, She says, "Papa, let's go home with the load." And we went home with the load.
Then what happened?
Well, I put it back in the grain again.
Oh, that worked for nothing, huh?
But she wouldn't give it away.
Oh,
I suppose it was pretty reasonable,
Yeah.
I suppose. Trying to wait for it to get up a little bit more.
now your mother came from Norway. Did she have any family here at all?
Well, Mrs. Buckington and Mrs. Wilson, the three sisters come from Norway.
That was your grandma's sisters then? See, I didn't even know that.
Miss Victoria's mother.
Victoria's mother? And who was the other
Oh,
one?
there were three girls and
Yeah,
three
okay,
brothers.
okay. Victoria's mother,
Yeah,
and then who was the other one?
Ingeborg, Mrs. Olsen.
Which
Annie
Mrs. Olsen?
Buckington's mother.
Yeah, that's Annie is the mother,
Annie Vikington's mother?
and the stepmother.
Her stepmother?
Yeah. Herman Olsen, he got married and his wife died,
Yeah,
and then he had three girls.
yeah.
And then when Ingeborg, when she come from Norway after the other two girls was here.
That was after your mother and Victoria's mother came here.
Yeah, they were
She
here
came,
first.
yeah, she came.
And then she was the last one to
Yeah.
come. And she worked in an orphan's home in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
And then, of course, she came up this way.
yeah.
And when she came up this way, then she got that job there out to Herman Olsen. He needed a housekeeper because she had those three girls.
Yeah, so he married her then.
So he married her.
Did
So
she have any children then?
She had, she got one boy. He died when he was infant there.
Oh,
And the other one got another boy. And he died of pneumonia when he was 21 years old.
okay, now, did your mother have any brothers?
Yeah. The three brothers.
Now, who were they?
So they're all in Norway.
Oh, they never came to America.
Nels girl was one.
Nels Gruey?
And the Nels came to America,
Yeah.
and they bought a farm, and then they went back to Norway.
That's Bertha's father then,
Yeah.
huh? Okay, now I got that straight. See,
So he.
I'm an outsider looking in, and I don't get this relation straight. And if I don't get it straight in my brain, I never will know who's who.
And so he come back.